Hello, folks. Welcome back to the final and last episode of the Season 1 of Battle Brothers. I don't have a script or anything written for this. I'm just going to ramble about what we learned, about the bros, about the map maybe. Just whatever comes to mind. But some people in the comments were talking about having one more battle or something like that, but I don't think I'm going to do that because we've destroyed everything that was hard. So, I mean, I could spend 30 minutes in the next episode just running around in circles looking for something to kill, but, I mean, we've already killed everything. Nothing can fight us anymore. So, I don't think we need to do that. Someone wanted to experiment with the armor, but, I mean, it looks cool. If he gets hit, he's going to take a very small amount of damage. That'll be what happens, so. Well, while we have it, why don't we just start going over our bros here. Let's find some of the early guys. Where is he? There he is, Cattleman. Let's go left to right, actually, so I don't miss anyone. I definitely don't want to miss anyone. Duke the dude. I'm not sure if the guy who requested this character is even watching anymore, but Duke is just a death machine. When we picked him up, I think a commenter in the video where we picked him up or a couple videos later said, "Get rid of Duke. Duke sucks." Sorry, I think you're wrong. By this point in the game, Duke is level 20, and he is the only character I know of who's got triple kills with this one swing of his sword on more than one occasion. I'm not sure if Ike has ever, but I definitely know Duke has. He's great. Let's take a look at their faces too when we talk about them. Look at that. He's got a nice, fat, manly, noble chin. He's just a gravedigger. And boy, has he dug a great many graves, probably. With the company for 381 days, 230 battles with 469 kills. That's 2 kills per battle. 2 kills per battle. Duke, his build is probably the best build, I think for a frontline two-handed bro. We've got the Colossus and the Steel Brow, which has definitely saved pretty much everyone's life at least once. Colossus and Steel Brow, at least once. Especially for the last battle that we just had at the Black Monolith, Colossus got us through that. Without Colossus, we definitely would have had to run from that fight. We wouldn't have been able to finish it in one solid fight. Recover. With how much ridiculous fatigue that Duke has, he is able to use this berserk and just go to town on guys and then recover, which gives him another 50, maybe more like 60% fatigue, because you still get the one turn of fatigue recovery on top of the 50% this gives you. So all it takes is he can recover and then he's good to go for 1 or 2 more rounds of just berserk AoE attacks, which is especially when we combine it with sword mastery. This is perfect. I don't think I would change anything in his build. He destroys everything in his path, and I think he's pretty much known for that. Aidblade. I think Aidblade is another character that someone immediately said, get rid of Aidblade, as soon as we picked him up. But damn it, I think Aidblade is amazing. That 70 melee defense, he's actually not bad a fighter when he's got a sword in one hand. He can do some damage when it's needed. But he holds the line, and he does it extremely well with that kind of melee defense. Extremely well. With the iron lungs, he's able to spam that shield wall early and often. I can't remember why we got gifted, but maybe we just needed it at the time to get more melee defense. It's not the worst thing in the world, gifted for your tanks and just general bros. Fortified Mind, I guess, was probably useful, maybe. But as we kind of learned in the campaign, you don't ever want to go into the battle without your banner, really, because it gets you to confidence so fast when you have the banner out. So I don't think you really need that much resolve on your own. We probably could have survived without it. Although I don't know what we would have gotten. Like Pathfinder maybe or something? I don't know. Quick draw? I don't know. Maybe bags and belts so we can carry more than one shield in case one gets broken. We could always give him Indomitable or something like that, or Taunt. Oh, he already has Taunt. Taunt is, I mean, it's okay. We used it maybe like 5 times. Also, I'm going to be drinking a beer throughout this because it's to toast the company. It's to toast the company. But Taunt, I don't know. It seems to have come in very useful on a very few occasions. But in those occasions, it was very, very useful. This other stuff, definitely need to have Underdog and Battle Forge. You cannot go into battle without those. None of this other stuff really appeals for the inner tank, I don't think. It doesn't really. So I guess I don't really have too much to complain about his build either. I mean, maybe we could have had a mastery, but eh. I don't know. Aidblade, he worked out. He worked out just fine. He joined us to the later side of the game, but he stuck around for quite a while till we got to level 17, and I think he was in most fights. 296 days. Well, maybe he's been around for quite a while actually. 173 battles with, wow, he actually has 154 kills. He's gotten at least 1 kill per battle. And he killed Horgash Gul. I think that was a Orc Warlord. I think I remember that. When he got that kill in, is pretty much saved that battle there. That was a tough battle if I recall. But Aidblade has been absolutely clutch in certain moments. Absolutely in certain moments. No regrets having Aidblade in the company. None whatsoever. Junior. Goujon Jr. I'm pretty sure he has almost the exact same build as Duke, except no Colossus. We didn't need Colossus with Junior because he just has a ton of hit points already. So Gifted got him pretty well. Junior is set up to probably actually eclipse Duke if he got to level 20. They'd have equal melee skill and just about equal melee defense as well. The fatigue, not so much. Oh, you know what we forgot to do? Aidblade. Well, it looks pretty simple, unassuming. And he's just a regular old brawler. I like the brawler background. Usually find good bros. Anyway, back to Junior. Junior's great. I mean, he's only been in the camp, Goujon Jr. The first Goujon, it was a nimble build, and I think nimble builds are overall just terrible. I don't care for them. I don't know, it's just not good. But Junior, on the other hand, is set up just like Duke, and massive success. Massive success very early. As soon as he got to level 11 and picked up the great sword and the heavy armor, he just waited right in there and was doing just as much damage as the rest. Absolutely. I'm trying to think of any sweet moments for Junior, but he has only been in the company for 222 days and took part in only 72 battles. It took a long time to train him up. So he's in the company for a long time, but only the past maybe 70 days he's actually been active. And it looks like he killed an Orc War Boss as well, Obrok. But 72 battles and 152 kills is almost exactly like Duke's average. Or quickly getting there. But Junior, he did well. And there's no fight I wouldn't have him in if this company continued. Kettlemund. Let's take his helmet off. Look at that sweet beard. Kettlemund is one of the original bros, yep. And I must have spent the past 200, 300 days saying I'm going to get rid of Kettleman any minute now. And we never quite did. We never quite did. And I think the company is happier for it because Kettleman has saved probably more lives than anyone in the company. I'm guessing that he feels a deep connection to the Saturnine, and he probably takes it the hardest when someone goes down. So he's stepped in more than once. He's done hero mode. He's done desperate rotations. I think he's even taunted enemies. Kettleman. There's not too much wrong with his build. Maybe instead of killing Frenzy, we could have gotten gifted or something. But overall, Kettleman is a boss, and he has saved many, many lives. Many lives. Good on Kettleman. From the very beginning. That's at least 444 days, probably more. 246 battles with 270 kills. Not exactly Aidblade's record. Well, it's actually pretty close. It's better. But Kettleman, I don't know. He's the face of the company, Kettleman. I've made fun of him a couple of times. I said we were gonna let him go, and it never quite happened. We always needed him. We almost always needed him in the fight. Now there's Kiribor. He's a wild man, isn't he? Yes, he is. He's caused trouble more than once in town. Kiribor, good old Kiribor. This was an experimental build where we have Rally the Troops and Fortified Mind on a tank. I read it on Reddit. I think someone was saying that you don't need banners, you can just have these guys, and I strongly disagree after using it. The amount of times he was able actually to rally anyone is extremely few and far between to where I think this is not a very good build. I would rather have dropped these for like Colossus and something else. Anything else? Maybe Taunt? But he worked out. He worked out. 174 days, 72 battles, 66 kills. Hey, kill the Hedge Knight. Probably with a dagger. But he only just got to level 11. We didn't get to see much of Kiribor, but you know what? In the final battle there, he did alright. In fact, I think in the final battle, he was the only one who didn't get hit. Not bad. His melee defense is not the best. But I think it's probably because we put points into Resolve. Yeah, see, putting points in Resolve made it so we couldn't get attack or... I mean, we had to sacrifice things for that. And I'm pretty sure he rolled max on almost every single Resolve roll, so he's got excellent Resolve. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. Pretty excellent Resolve. The Kiribor did good. I can't exactly think of like very memorable moments for him, but he does great in the shield wall. And I had high hopes that he was going to make it to like level 20 with everyone else if we didn't let him go sooner, because he's just not as good as some of our other guys. He's better than Kettleman in the defense department. That's for sure. But a wild man with Fearless. Wow, he started with like 50 Resolve. Pretty amazing. Ike. There's Ike. Look, he's got that sweet windswept hair like some sort of celebrity. Oh, Ike. He's been... I feel like he's been in the company from the beginning. Yeah, look at that. With the company for 443 days, he's like the first guy we hired. Or the second. The first or the second guy we hired. Ike has a special spot in my heart in this campaign. Ike has been there practically from the very beginning. He was an amazing hire. His melee skill is absurd. His defense is crazy. So when he does his swing and he hits everyone, his defense just goes crazy through the roof, up to like 80 or something like that. His build is a bizarre hybrid build. A very bizarre hybrid build. We have the Iron Lungs, first of all. And he doesn't have Berserk, which I think is what caused Duke to sort of pull ahead of him in probably those sweet killing frenzy moments when it's time to just chop through a lot of guys. But Ike he's stable. I don't think I can remember the last time Ike's ever been in trouble. I just can't. But because we started early with him, we had to get a little crazy. We had to take rotation because everyone needs rotation in the early game for the most part. It's really tough to survive without that. The fortified mind probably could have gone to something useful like Berserk or Gifted. But overall, Ike... Oh, I know. Yeah, Ike. The biggest memory of Ike is how he broke in more battles than anyone else, maybe even combined. Ike is he's a badass, but he's also a closet wuss. He's got great resolve, but you know what? He would just break all the time. All the time. And so we gave him this necklace, and he still would break against things that weren't ghosts. Oh, Ike. He's kind of my avatar in this game, I think. At some point, I decided that Ike is just... I would have been so sad if Ike died. But he's done his time. 281 battles with 542 kills. That's almost 2 kills for battle. Duke has a better average, but Ike has been with the company longer. He was sword and boarding it in a padded vest early on in the campaign. A padded vest. He was making it happen for a long time. I consider him the companion background, really. Amazing guy. Justadorf. Look at that sweet. He's got this nice Slayer haircut with his sweet beard. Can we get a better look at that beard? Yes, we can. Look at him. Justadorf. I was a little sketchy about Justadorf when we picked him up. I wasn't too sure if he was going to work out, but with the way his build went, the switching between a two-handed axe and a long axe, I think, has been really, really good. Really good. And having them in the back line where they can lend a hand with the long axe, and then when like an orc busts through, you switch over and just wail on whatever orc's trying to come in for like massive damage. I think that has... I'm going to be using axe guys like this in the next campaign. Absolutely. And probably just this exact build. Because I think it was very effective. It was very effective. And especially with how many axes you find, because Hedge Knights pretty much carry only axes, I think it'd be good to make use of that. Justadorf himself, amazing stats. He ended up with amazing stats. That 96 melee skill almost guarantees that he's going to be hitting someone with that axe, which is exactly what you need. His fatigue is god-awful, but we got really lucky and we found the well-crafted lifesaver, which is probably the best armor in our company aside from this special drop, of course. When we got that, we kind of unlocked Justadorf's potential. The nice thing about this axe build is that with the mastery, you can switch between the two and almost never get tired. It happens rarely that you get tired, but swinging, you're not doing AoEs with any of these, so it's only like 12 fatigue to swing, and you usually recover 15 a turn, so you can almost do it indefinitely, except for those rare berserk occasions, which I think have been pretty great. Like, kill something weak with the long axe and then switch over and then hit something strong with a double axe. It's a great build. It's a great build, and Justadorf showed it off very well. I think we had a couple scares with him early on, but we got him through it, and he's okay. Definitely someone I would not get rid of. Then there's Egil. Look at that. Look at that hair. Might want to just put that right back on. No, Egil, Egil, number 1 tank. When I think tank, I think Egil. Although Aidblade is right behind him in the tanking department. But Egil himself, he's a Oh, I thought he was original companion, but no, he signed on at day, what, 7? Day 8? I think so. Yeah, Egil, I can't think of like any immediate scenarios where he was amazing, but he has always been amazing. He held the line in so many battles against usually odds that would kill any other bro. And he did it just well. And he got some kills too. 255 battles and 284 kills. For a tank, that is pretty excellent. That's definitely a kill in a little bit every fight. Pretty good resolve. Egil he was great. Let's take a look here. The fortified mind probably would have just gone with gifted instead. I think early on in the game I was like, I want to be monster hunters before I knew what endgame was really like. So fortified mind was a bit of a waste. Taken gifted or taunt instead would have been more useful. But overall, I think Egil's build was pretty good. He was tanky. We needed him in that final fight, that's for sure. He's always just been there. He's saved many a life, probably, with that rotation. Egil, yeah. No doubt Egil was instrumental in this campaign, no doubt. Then there's Hacken. Hacken is an amazing sergeant. For an apprentice, I don't think usually sergeants get this kind of resolve if it's your basic sergeant with a basic background, but since we got Brave and 2 stars with tons and tons of rolls, Hacken turned into an amazing sergeant. I don't know if you guys remember, but man, was it like episode 20, maybe even earlier, we actually had another sergeant. And he got killed while running from vampires. Killed pretty badly too. It was not pretty to see him go down. But Hacken, it took a while for us to track down a replacement sergeant, and Hacken has been an amazing sergeant. And the one thing I learned with sergeants is always take them every battle, because this banner will get you straight to confident morale with all the other bros. And confident morale is a big deal. It's really a big deal. It's worth losing the character slot to have a confident on everyone. Let's take a look at this build. I think Pathfinder was a great idea for this build. I don't really care about Pathfinder for anyone else, but there's been more than one occasion where Hacken had to hoof it through dangerous terrain to get a rally off, or to conserve his fatigue. Another great part about Hacken is that he has really high fatigue and resolve and initiative. I mean, this is like pretty much what makes a really good sergeant. I think we lucked out with Hacken. The initiative lets him go first, so he could get a rally off at the beginning of a round. The resolve, of course, is good, and the fatigue lets you just spam rally over and over and over and over again until it's time to recover. I don't think I would have changed anything about him. Even the Berserk came in handy now and then. I don't think I would change anything about him. I think his build was perfect. And he was a perfect bro for the job. I don't think anyone else could have done it just as well. And man, there was the battle right before the Black Monolith where we almost lost him. If we lost him, we wouldn't have been able to do the Black Monolith for like another 400 days while we trade up another sergeant. That would have sucked, huh? Or we could have just made Kiribor like carry the banner. I don't know. But Hacken turned out to be excellent. Then there's Vorander. Vorander showed up late to the game. Ooh, he's pretty roughed up there, isn't he? He was a hedge knight who rolled pretty good. That melee defense did not work out, though. It really didn't work out. The stars are all in the right place. I was really worried that Vorander might not survive, but after seeing how successful Justadorf's axe build was, I think it works perfect for Vorander when he can stay in the back where melee defense isn't too useful. And he can edge in 1 versus 1 against like an orc and stuff where he would be okay by nailing him with his axe. Reach advantage. I guess that helps. Probably didn't need it over maybe gifted, which would have given him more melee defense instead. And the attack and the fatigue and all that great stuff. But he turned into a boss. Definitely a boss. Plenty of kills. 48 battles and 104 kills, by the way. That is... You can't ask for a better ratio, really. Yeah, Hacken barely... Well, 98 kills for him is pretty excellent. Egil the Rock. Yep. It's been around for a while, but... Forehander, only 117 days and he's level 12. 48 battles and 104 kills. He did excellent. He did excellent. No regrets. If the company continued, I'd definitely keep him on board as long as possible. Because he's been making it happen with that axe. Definitely. Leonard. Leonard. Let's get rid of this shield too. It's blocking his face. Look at that sweet stash. Leonard. Perhaps more than Jost, Leonard would get his ass kicked in every single battle. Without... I mean, we did everything we could to stop it. Oh, we didn't give him Shield Expert, I guess. I thought we did. But we still gave him a shield. But I found that he would get his ass kicked so much that I was terrified of putting that shield away in most cases because it would just get him killed. Leonard was a fun experiment, I think. That melee skill is out of this world. Let's get that out of the way right now. That melee skill is out of this world. But I think what I learned with Leonard more than anything is that the one-handed hammer build is not good. I would rather have had Leonard just have a two-handed sword and just be on the front doing two-handed sword things. Or be another axe hybrid guy. But with that kind of fatigue, I think if we went out with a two-handed sword build, it would have been better. I mean, Destroy armor takes a lot of fatigue, first of all. It destroys armor pretty well. But it just seemed like it wasn't doing as much as like a two-handed sword would, because with a two-handed sword you could hit 2 or 3 guys at a time, especially with a melee skill like that. And it would be doing more damage than a warhammer. And especially because it's only good against armored targets, whereas a sword is good against everyone. I don't think I'll be doing a one-handed warhammer build again. I don't think it worked out. Leonard was a lot of fun, though. That's for sure. 329 days, 172 battles, and 193 kills. The numbers kind of speak for themselves. That's not very good. It's not very good. And he would just get constantly wrecked. If he had reach advantage and doing constant AoEs, he would have been dealing more damage and have the defense of all those reach advantage procs to keep him alive a little bit more. And it would have gotten us through battles faster, because the faster you kill enemies, the safer you are. And Leonard definitely could not kill anything if his life depended on it, because the hammer does tiny amounts of damage. It's not a good weapon. It sucks to get hit by it though, but you know, that's how the game is. Some weapons are not very good to use, but when you're going up against it, it's a different matter entirely. So I'm not too interested in doing a one-handed hammer build again. Then there's Nightwarg. We didn't get to Nightwarg. First of all, Nightwarg started watching this series when we were well over halfway, and he powered through those episodes and left comments in every one of them, some of them in which I learned a lot, so thank you, Nightwarg. I'll try and feature you earlier in the next campaign so that you get a little bit more airtime since, I mean, you're clearly a big fan of this series. But Nightward, we only got him to level 7. Sadly, I mean, only 16 battles with 32 kills, which is pretty excellent. But, yeah, and with the company for 108 days. Not a lot to say about Nightward. He was there. He was there. I don't know what we were training him up for. I'm pretty sure he was just going to be a two-handed sword bro because he's got pretty good stat spread for that. But yeah, we never quite finished leveling him up, did we? Then there's Toso. Look at that. He's got some hair problems, I guess. Maybe those are some hair plugs that he got. I don't know. Toso, #1 world's best archer. All he's missing is like a Vision +1 upgrade. In fact, both of these are not... They're terrible for an archer, but because he was a triple-star hunter and ranged, he turned out really good anyway. Like, extremely good. But yeah, both of these are just useless for an archer. If he had Vision +1 or Iron Lungs or anything really, he would have been just even better. But 103 range skill at level 13 is killer. It is killer. I think his build is pretty excellent. Bullseye, Anticipation, Overwhelm. I don't know about Headhunter, but the Killing Frenzy was pretty nice. I don't know what else we would take other than Headhunter. Maybe Berserk. I don't know. Nimble, maybe. I don't know. But he turned out extremely well. How long has he been in the company? 93 battles and 113 kills for 227 days. Yeah, he's kind of a late arrival. Took a long time to train him up. But he is the company's #1 in fact, he's the company's only archer now. For those times when we have a necromancer on the horizon, Toso is the man for the job. He's definitely the man for the job. And he almost... Oh, God, he almost died in that battle with the goblins, I think. That was pretty scary. He's almost died a few times, but he's pulled through. That's why we gave him this really nice armor to help with that problem. And it looks really good on him, too. Even with this thing. Not bad. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Bane! Let's take this off. There he is. Bane. Bane is our resident throwing guy. He's our resident throwing guy. And then he ended up on a crossbow because honestly, I don't think throwing is any good still. What else were we supposed to do with the throwing thing? Maybe Killing Frenzy or Berserk and Headhunter, stuff like that instead of... And maybe instead of Brawny. He's got so much fatigue now. Oh, but then again, now he still has tons and tons of fatigue. Maybe instead of Brawny, we would have gotten just a couple of other picks. There's some interesting stuff out there that still we could have used to upgrade the throwing build, but it is so niche, the throwing thing. You use them against only, what, one type of enemy? And at point blank range every time? I don't know. And even then, it just didn't seem very exciting. The crossbow, on the other hand, amazing damage, great range, has a bonus to hit. I don't know why you would use throwing over the crossbow. I think Bane requested to try another throwing in Season 2, so we're going to give it a shot again. I always remain yet to be convinced, and I would actually assume that throwing is probably better earlier in the game than later. Absolutely. But as it stands now in the late game, I cannot imagine any time I'd put a throwing guy in the back line over, like, a Justadorf, for example. Especially against, like, orcs and stuff. It just doesn't... I don't know. I remain yet to be convinced, but as it stands now, I am unconvinced. Bane has been in the company for 227 days. It's been taking forever to train him up. Pretty much for the reasons I outlined, because usually someone else is going to be better for that battle instead of javelins or throwing axes. So, I don't know. 42 battles with 57 kills. That's okay. A little bit over 1 kill per battle. We'll try it again. I just wish Bane got some more airtime. That's what I really wish. Edmonds of Riga. Almost nothing to say about this guy. He started way too late. 39 days, 6 battles, 9 kills. Sorry, Edmonds. Maybe next... he's also fat, which sucks. Hopefully that would go away. Great stats, though. For level 5, I think he would turn out to be a great two-handed sword guy on the front line, but it's not working out this time. Nothing to say about poor Edmonds here. He didn't have enough time in the series. And there's Magnus. Looking pretty handsome there, Mr. Magnus. Magnus is an early bro. In fact, 413 days. Day 30, we picked up Magnus. 155 battles with 187 kills is not the best, but you know what? I think Magnus was absolutely instrumental to our early game. Having a melee skill, they're even equal. Isn't that crazy? And then with 24 range defense, Magnus is the perfect example of a hybrid bro. And in the early game, hybrid bros are extremely strong. To plug away with a crossbow and then hit guys with pike in the melee in the early game is really devastating. I don't think I would have gone with crippling strikes. Crippling strikes is not particularly exciting. What would I have gotten instead of it, though? I don't know. Headhunter, maybe? I don't know what I've got. Bullseye? I don't know. I don't know what I would have gotten instead of it. Maybe Colossus, although he's got plenty of health. He didn't exactly need that. Maybe Killing Frenzy? Probably would have dropped Fearsome as well. Fearsome does not seem to be very good at all. But yeah, Magnus was a great bro to have. Very great. I mean, he's still in the company now. He's great. He performs really well shooting goblins, because you can one-shot goblins with the heavy crossbow from across the field sometimes, which is amazing. Really, really amazing. Maybe Headhunter would have gone nicely, because every once in a while you just shoot a goblin right in the face and he'd go down. One-shot kill. Actually, yeah, Headhunter for crossbowmen. Maybe we'll do that next time. That seems really, really good. He even had Backstabber. I mean, when he got that polearm out, it was 95% chance to hit. Guaranteed. Magnus turned out really well. I like him. He's a little bit more of a niche role. 413 days, only 155 battles. He dropped off towards the end. In the beginning, he was almost in every single battle. But towards the end, he was just there to kill goblins mostly. He was Goblin Hunter. And I think that's exactly what crossbows are really suited for, is killing goblins, in my opinion. So we learned a lot from this. We learned a lot from our bros here. In the next season, I'll probably try maybe a few more experimental builds here and there, like throw-in and stuff, but I'm gonna probably try and lock in like even more refined builds. We'll do it like a more professional game, perhaps, quote unquote. Let's check our obituary. Wow. We lost a couple of guys, didn't we? Let's start from the bottom. Robert. I don't remember you, Robert. Killed by a brigand thug. It's just the way it is in the early game. One day, first battle, didn't even kill anyone, and he was just made dead, just like that. I'm actually wondering, is this the guy who we picked up and he was like really terrible and we just took all his clothes off and threw him in the line just to distract enemies for a while? Maybe? I can't remember. Some other Egil? Smashed by a thug? I don't remember you at all, Egil, sorry. I do not remember you. He got one kill and then he died. Torvald? I think this was our... Was this our first wild man? He didn't quite make it. Grogi, sorry. Clubbed to death by a raider? I don't know who any of these guys are. But now we're starting to remember. Eberl the Sergeant, like I said earlier, disemboweled by a necro savant. At the time, it really sucked when we lost our sergeant to that. It was terrible. But I think overall, when we picked up Hacken, it was a good thing for the company, as much as I hate to say that, honestly. Then there's Von Cohen, our first named character to die in the campaign. That sucked. That sucked. I was playing it a little fast and loose and he got killed by a fallen hero, but Von Cohen had, what, 40 HP? There's no way I'm ever going to pick up a retired soldier again with that HP penalty, because they cannot survive. There's no way they would ever make it in the late game when an orc does like 60 HP damage in a single hit sometimes. So it was going to happen, but Von Cohen had great stats, if I recall. He was like triple defense and double star offense. Excellent stats. He had the stars of promise in his eyes, and then a fallen hero took him down. There was Thilman. I think Thilman was our hammerer. He was our hammerer, and he got killed by a fallen hero. I think I was willing to take the risk with Thilman. I believe he also had a hobbled leg, didn't he? Or a broken ankle or something like that. And so he'd always be late to a fight, difficult to move around. But I guess he died the way he kind of wanted to. He stayed in the company, and I had already accepted that he was not going to make it through the whole campaign, and we took a risk and he died for it. Would have been better to retire him, but, well. Then there's Jeffrey the Orc Slayer. He came on board literally the day that Thilman died, carrying a hammer. It was like meant to be. And he got killed by an Orc Warrior. And I'm pretty sure I was just playing like a doofus and I misplayed it. I was trying in some experimental tactic against the orcs, and it utterly failed. And then that was that for him. He got killed, but he was going to leave the company anyway, so he wouldn't have been much of a memorable character, but it's still, he paid for it for trying to experiment against orcs. Baldemar, I think he was a wild man, and he just got killed. He had good stats, but didn't work for him. Then there's Fritzy. Oh, Fritzy. Fritzy, Ingolf's friend. No, not Ingolf's friend. He was Toso's friend. Second best archer in the company, easily. Killed by a goblin wolf rider at the goblin super fort. Very sad when he died. Great ratio for an archer, Fritzy. He made it happen. He gave his life up in one of the toughest fights the Saturnine has ever had. Yeah. That sucked. And then, speaking of sucking, Jost. 442 days in the company. 264 battles with 400 kills. And he got killed by an ancient honor guard at the Black Monolith. It was almost a perfect battle. But Jost, being Jost, had to show off to the company about how much he could take to the face. And he got killed. That was a bummer. It was a bummer that a day before the company retires, Joss dies. But I think Joss was kind of a warrior, you know, kind of like a Valhalla type Viking guy. And I think he would have wanted to die in that battle, if any battle, honestly. So he's probably up there looking down on the company or something like that. And he's gone now. I miss Jost. He started on the hammer, on the two-handed hammer. Well, I mean, he started with sword and board because he's been in the company for literally forever. And then he drifted into two-handed hammer, but I think two-handed hammers are pretty bad, so we put him over to the sword, and that's when he really started shining. Two-handed swords are where it's at. If I had it my way in a perfect scenario, I'd have an entire front line of two-handed swords. And I think Joss was a perfect example of seeing what a hammer could do and then what a sword can do. Once Joss picked up that two-handed sword, when you have the ability to do the split attack, a whole world of possibilities open up against you. Or for you. A whole world of possibilities. So he did serve in that regard, at least. What else is there to talk about? We've got the factions and relations. We did all right. We did all right. We're only legendary, but in order to get higher than legendary, you really have to put in like 1,000 days of work. But we don't really need to do that. We've triumphed over everything. What do I think of the map? We started over here, I believe. Like right here? I'm pretty sure. I think. Filestein was like the first place we visited. We almost never went north because there was only one road up there. And then I remember in like the earliest days of the campaign, we went up here to do the ambition to explore everywhere. We nearly starved to death because there was like, we had no money, we ran out of food, we couldn't sell anywhere at an extreme loss because everything had been raided and plundered. And everyone was terrified. We barely made it home, and then ever since then we only went up there a couple times to get some dogs on the occasion. We ran like this cool circuit. I mean, it is literally just one circuit. That was kind of nice for a while. I really wish there was a road between it that would have made things glorious, because we spent a lot of time moving around instead of running quests. I think it was Nightwarg who said, run more quests! And I think we will definitely be doing that in the next season. A lot more quests. I had read, Reddit. Either you find really good tips or you find people who play only on easy mode telling everyone else how to play. So I heard you don't really need to run quests. You could just run out there and just plunder things. And I think probably not so good, except for, of course, when you find those really big orc camps and stuff. Obviously, you're not going to get a quest for that, but the quests were good to do. Brunwald, Ingolf, and Alfred, and oh, don't let me forget now. Ingolf, Alfred. Who else did we retire? Is that it? Raynor. Ingolf, Alfred, and Raynor, all of them in Brunwald, I'm pretty sure. Partying it up, and you know what? I guess it makes sense that this is where the whole company retires. Maybe Ingolf and Alfred and Raynor, they set up like a bowyer's shop, but they're setting up one right now. Getting the foundation laid for the rest of the company to help out. I don't know. But Brunwald is it's nestled in the mountains here. Very defensive. And we did not often see a lot of its stuff destroyed. So they were able to protect it pretty well. But Brunwald was a great city where we got usually pretty good sell prices, and we were able to base most of our operations and all of this out of there. Then there was Blankenstadt, which was definitely the money city. We'd go here and we would make 10,000 plus gold after a long outing. We got tons of money in Blankenstadt. Very good city, and it was almost always without being raided or anything like that. So we could go there and almost be guaranteed to be able to buy things at a decent price and sell things at an excellent price. Gronenberg, after that, we've bought some special stuff there. I think we got Duke's sword and Justendorf's armor there. So it was always good to check that place. Lots of tools, almost all the time. Yeah, we bought lots of tools there. Not much to say much more about that. Gronenberg was a great hotspot to pick up much needed things when we were on the eastern side of the board here. Mordorf, I'll never forget Mordorf. What was it, day 40? We see a couple of dragons, lindworms, and they chased us all the way up north? Isn't that what happened? Right at Mordorf? That was like really early. If we fought those dragons on the field, we would have been so dead. I'll never remember. I'll never forget. Right outside Mordorf, right up here. I mean, you could go back and watch that replay, and I did. Those vampires literally spawned or teleported or something right on top of the company. That had to have been a bug or something like that. And that's when we lost our original Sergeant Eberrold. But that had to have been... I've never seen that before or since. Yeah, not before or since. Down here, these cities were usually a pain in the ass to deal with. Krautmark was always a mess. We could never sell anything there. It was just a train wreck every time. Crotchfest was a little bit better. There's usually tools there. Same in Sandkai. But most of these cities were just terrible. I've spoken for almost an hour in this epilogue episode, sorry, not series. But I think it deserves at least an hour and a beer. There's the toast. Well, guys, I don't know. A moment of silence for the company. They're just... the Saturnine, huh? I'm gonna be starting another season sooner or later. I don't want to wait too long. But I think it would respect the company if I didn't just like immediately start recording another season like right now. But wow, Battle Brothers, what a singularly unique game. There is no game like Battle Brothers, and I bet you guys could probably agree as well. There's no game like Battle Brothers. When I was starting to realize that this series was coming to a close, I didn't know what other game to play instead of Battle Brothers that was like similar to it, but not quite. But no, there's no replacement. This game is a 9.5 out of 10, if you ask me. That 0.5 being reserved for why no mods. The soundtrack, 10 out of 10. The soundtrack does not get old to me. It doesn't get old. This game is just, it's really amazing. I can't wait to see what else these developers to come up with in the future. The game is very affordable. It's very fun. And it's got replayability, I think. To try out new things, to try out a new map, see what you get. I mean, for example, we didn't even get a city that had a forest. We had no lumber mill, which is interesting. But yeah, guys, I think it's time to retire the company and read our final story. Have I missed anyone? No? Who would I say is the most MVP of the entire company? Should I even say it? maybe not. Because Battle Brothers is not a game of which one is the most badass, but how they all work together. That's why I think it's important. So the Saturnine did extremely well. They've fought they've fought against all odds in some battles, and they came out on top. Other battles they had to run away. But you know what? Run away, fight another day. Fight another day. Let's do it. Permanently end your campaign and leave the men in charge. You rebuilt well the Saturnine. You worked hard to bolster its ranks with fresh bodies, and you worked even harder to make sure that the name meant something again across the land. When you finally retired, you left Hacken the sergeant in command of the company and wished him well. Oh, so they all went off? Under his leadership, the Saturnine did well enough, working wherever there was going to be made for crossing swords. Then several months after you leave, a feud between noble houses escalated. Oh, really? Hacken the Sergeant didn't hesitate to seize this opportunity to fill the company's coffers with spoils of war. This doesn't look good. I'm not happy with this so far. But others chose to seek a different path. Okay, so some also left. While the Saturnine visited town for rest and recuperation, a local princess took a shine to Kirbor. I bet you Kirbor was up to no good in town. He's probably just trashing the local bar, getting in brawls, and the princess was like, ooh. He was purchased for a large sum of gold and given to the noblewoman. Oh, interesting. You went and visited him recently. For dinner, he sat at a kingly table, grinning goofily and mimicking the nobles around him as best he could. That sounds like Kirbor. His new and inexplicable wife adored him and him her. When you said your goodbyes, he offered you a heavy golden crown off the top of his head. It weighed heavy with traditions and ancient histories. You said it's best if he'd kept it. The wild man shrugged and walked off, spinning the circlet around a finger. What a guy. Justadorf left the Saturnine and started his own competing company. That sounds exactly like, maybe not Justadorf the character, but definitely the person. If his comments are anything to judge by. The two companies clashed on opposite sides of a battle between nobles. Oh, the sellsword died when a mercenary from the Saturnine stove his head in with a hedge knight's helmet. Well, that'll serve you. Nobles play their own dangerous game, and Hacken the Sergeant didn't see what was coming. Oh no. A few successful skirmishes into the war, the Saturnine found themselves pitted against superior numbers with no way out and no reinforcements. They were made as pawn sacrifice, discarded as a ruse to draw out the company and strike elsewhere. Mercenaries are easily replaced and dead ones don't ask to be paid. It was a battle of little consequence to the war, but it was a devastating defeat for the company. Wow. But few still remembered the name Saturnine when it was over? Really? After all that? Well, I disagree, sir. Bummer. But, well, I guess Hacken probably lost most of our best guys, like Duke and Egil and Ike, probably. Because if I can guarantee you, if Duke and Ike were in that fight, I don't think they would have been defeated so easily. But that's the end, guys. Not the best ending, honestly. What does 437 points mean? I don't know. I thought we did a lot better than that, but maybe it's kind of like I said earlier, we didn't run enough quests. Maybe. I don't know what we could have done better. Other than just circle grind the same stuff over and over again till the end of time. Maybe that. But overall, I think the company did really well. We lost 11 guys. We retired a couple. We got through the Black Monolith in one fight. I'd say the facts don't match this story. But that's fine. You know what? The game is great anyway. I had a lot of fun. I hope you guys did too. Thanks for watching, hitting those like buttons all through the series, leaving their comments, your thoughts, joining the Discord. It's been a journey. It's been a long journey, over 100 hours that we've spent playing this one season. Amazing. Thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you in the next one.